I didn't realize Raven Simone was as unintelligent as she appears to be. You know, from the first few interviews I've seen her do over the last year, at one stage I actually thought she was joking. I mean, you know, the whole "I'm from every continent in Africa" statement. You know, that made me laugh. I thought it was hilarious. But I just kind of let it slide as just an innocent slip up. But the more this woman opens her mouth, the more I wish she would just shut up and just stop. Please, she needs to stop. You know what the worst kind of stupid person is? A stupid person who actually thinks they're intelligent. That's the worst type of dumbass. She just keeps sticking her foot in her mouth time and time again. And I'm pretty sure people are sick of defending her and making excuses for her. The reason that I think we fight so hard to give her the benefit of the doubt is because we still see that cute little girl from the Cosby Show that we all grew up watching, or the psychic girl from That's So Raven. But there has to be a point where we stop making excuses for foolish behavior. She has access to too many people. Her views are just unintelligent nonsense. I literally watch her interviews with a straight face saying, "Really? Really? Really?" Like, you know, Raven said that she doesn't like people with ghetto or black names and wouldn't hire somebody with a certain type of name. Um, Your name is Raven Simone. Like, I'm gonna give you a couple clues for one. I mean, Raven is a black bird for one, and you want to say that you're not black, but you won't hire people with ethnic names with a name like Raven Simone, though. If you weren't famous, I'm sure your resume would get overlooked by certain companies. Me personally, I wouldn't hire her based on her stupidity and snobby ass attitude. Forget her name. Now, I'm no hypocrite. And I'm sure you can see in the title that I have another name up there. I'm not gonna check Raven Simone for saying that she's not black or African American or that she doesn't want to be labeled and then act like Prince E isn't essentially saying the exact same thing. So I saw a video recently by him where he says he doesn't want to be labeled as black, but as a human being, etc., etc. Yeah, some sort of poem, right? I'm usually a fan of this brother's videos. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they're a little too liberal and fluffy for me, but he says some very thought-provoking stuff, and his heart seems to be in the right place. He wants word love, peace, equality, and for us all to live surrounded by cotton candy, right? But, you know, his most recent video is saying exactly the same thing as Raven Simone. Okay. By saying you don't want to be labeled as black or African American, you're basically saying you're not proud of being black. These people really want to disassociate so much with being black. It saddens me. What makes it worse is that their views reach so many people, so many impressionable minds. We're already lost and misplaced as it is. We need more people who are awake, not living in a dream fantasy la la land. Just think about this. All of the fights, marches, protests, wrongly imprisoned brothers and sisters, and people killed so that we could be called black and not Negro or colored, so that we could stand up as black people regardless of shade, mix, complexion, and stand proud and say, "Yes, I'm black and I'm proud." So what now? Do we forget that? Was that all for nothing? Dead activists and freedom fighters are turning in their graves. If you feel that they're saying they don't want to be black because the label has bad connotations to it and black people are targeted, etc., or and you know everything else they believe that comes along with being black, then you need to look a little bit deeper. The label is irrelevant. They could call you a human, but when they see you, do you really think that they'll treat you any different? Do you? No. You think that just because you say, "I'm not black" or "I do not want to be labeled," that all of a sudden the rest of the world becomes colorblind? No, they still see you as black. You'll still get treated the same way. We'll still keep getting killed by police. Nothing will change. Just because you call an apple an orange won't make it an orange. If I see a dog, I'll call it a dog. I'm not going to say a mammal. It's a dog. Women, men, woman, man are labels. If I see a woman, I'm going to describe her as a woman. I'm not going to call her a human. Oh, damn. Look at that attractive human over there. Whew. Get real. Labels are not the problem. It's how people are treated. Label me as black, mixed, or light skinned. I'm proud. But I demand that you treat me as a man, as a human. And I will get that respect because I refuse to allow you to disrespect me. You can reject the stereotypes and go against the negative connotations and still be proud of being black. You don't have to say, oh, well, the only way I can reject the stereotypes and remove myself from the negative connotations is to no longer be called black. Like the world is going politically correct mad. I heard this new label for black gay people, SGL, same gender loving. So they don't want to be labeled as gay because they believe that gay is a term coined by the white man, by white supremacy. Right. Okay, listen. Words are simply words. They take on the meanings that people give them. You can call yourself a leprechaun, but if you engage in homosexual acts or the acts of same sex relationships, then in the language I speak, you're gay. Different nations have different words that mean gay. It's just a language. Like God in Spanish is Dios. It still means God. You're still gay. SGL won't make you less gay. Like, if you really want to move away from Western words for the word gay, then find out what they say in Twi, Yoruba, Swahili, or any other language in Africa. Like, let me get back on to Raven, all right? So she doesn't want to be labeled as an African American. Okay. If you're black, then you have roots in Africa. Now, somebody said to me a while back, they were like, "Oh, but people from Papua New Guinea are black, but they're not from Africa." So I did some research, but they are actually from Africa. They traveled to Papua New Guinea from Africa 70,000 years ago. It doesn't matter how long ago it was. They are still indigenous to Africa, and the Papua New Guineans are descendants of Africa. Malcolm X, he's got this quote, and he says, "Just because a cat has kittens in the oven doesn't make them biscuits." We are African. We happen to be in America. We are not American. We are people who formerly were Africans who were kidnapped and brought to America. Malcolm X is basically saying just because you're born in America doesn't really make you American, right? Now, to the average uneducated person, when they think of Africa, they think of poverty, famine, disease, right? But if you really know, then you know how rich Africa is, how incredible Africa, and the integral role Africa played in today's society. By calling yourselves African American, not just American, you're basically acknowledging the rich historical past of Africa. You're showing pride and respect to your ancestors who suffered. Now, I understand that very few of us in America and the Caribbean have ties to Africa now, other than our ancestors who were stolen from there. But this is exactly how they want us to think. They want us to disassociate, forget, and remove ourselves completely. They want us more lost than we already are. Yes, we come in all shades and mixes, but we are of Africa. If it wasn't for Africa, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't even look the way we do. So whether you're Dominican, Jamaican, African American, Puerto Rican, Surinamese, Trini, Bayesian, and anywhere else, you have Africa to thank and slavery to blame. And before you say slavery is over, we've only been free for essentially 50 years. White people will gladly call themselves American Irish, American Italian. Why? Because it ties them to their heritage and their past. Now, I don't really want to get into the technicality of Native Americans. Yes, they're the real Americans. But when somebody thinks of an American outside of America, they instantly think of a white person. So I have to ask something. Like, Raven, do you want to be white? Is that what it all boils down to? Like, that whole black versus African American title just shows you how lost we are. Too many people think there's a difference. Too many people lack knowledge, and too many people are happy to stay that way, ignorant and naive. You are black regardless of skin tone, with African ancestry, who happens to be born in America or happens to be born in Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. You still have African ancestry. Think about how we really got to these islands and these countries. It blows my mind. Like, our generation hasn't been taught to find pride in who we are or being black or African like they did back in the 70s. Instead, what they teach us is a predetermined life of racial oppression based on skin color. Some people feel the only way out is to claim this non-black status, screaming, "Oh, I've got multiple ethnicities and races in me." Anything to get away from being black. Anything to run away from Africa, to get away from Africa. There is no Africa America. Yeah, that's true. But you are a person of African descent, birthed in America. Just like Irish people of Irish descent, born in America, are called Irish Americans. Raven, you don't want to be black? But if it wasn't for black people, a black show, nobody would know you. Raven Simone is one of many black Americans who are ashamed of association with Africa for whatever reason. But what she can't escape, though, is the fact that all black people in the world have their origins in Africa. You could chop the tree down, and you can try and make the tree look as different as you want. You can try and make the tree look like a flower. You can try and make the tree look like a goddamn table. But your roots will always be there. They'll always be deep in Africa. Call yourself whatever you want, but you can't escape the fact that you have African blood in you. Now, when Raven Simone says in her defense, she was like, but she's not from Africa. She doesn't know any of her ancestors from Africa. She's never been to Africa, and she has no desire to go to Africa. That's what she says in her defense. This is why she wants to be an American. This is why she doesn't want to be labeled as black, doesn't want to be labeled as gay, whatever else. Let me translate what she said into reality, into non-sugar-coated truth. Raven Simone told you on camera, fuck my history, fuck my ancestors, because she wants to remain naive and ignorant, because she thinks it's nice to live in La La Land, and hopefully everybody else will turn colorblind. Raven, you really didn't see this coming, did you? Peace, love, and coconut oil.
Hey man, that's racist. Please remember that from now on, brand new never before seen videos, as well as live streams, will only be available on my website, ikyg.com, via a Patreon subscription. ikyg.com is a black-owned, black-ran platform, 100% free from censorship. It's the only place where we don't have to worry about what we say and expressing ourselves. Make sure you check out the description and the comment section for important links, as well as information in video form that shows you what benefits you get when you support the site and join my Patreon. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, then don't forget to subscribe and be notified every time I upload a video. For exclusive content and perks, check out my Patreon. This is where we have private live streams, group chats, live Q&As, live phone calls, and open topics. This is a safe space where you can interact with other like-minded people, make friends, send each other direct private messages, and so much more without any trolls. And yes, you get to use GIFs and images in the live chats. So what are you waiting for? This is a completely independent website, free from censorship. If you'd like to make a donation towards the site so we can continue to put out the truth without fear of being silenced, then please hit that donation button. It's greatly appreciated. Check out the rest of the site for videos, private and public live streams, find out all the tea, and make sure to utilize the Black Money section of the website. Advertise your business absolutely free to people that look like you, free forever. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at angel_IKYG.